Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today, we're sitting down with the chairman of the board on the AIM tournament series, Mr. Brett King. We've had Brett on here before. We talked fishing, and of course, we're going to talk a little fishing again today. But what we're really going to get into is AIM Next. That is correct. AIM Next, next level NXT tournament circuit that is coming to the walleye world in 2026. Brett is going to give us the insight, kind of break it down, how it's set up. Still a lot to get established with it, so it's a little fluid. We want to get the word out there, though, so you have some time to get into an AIM tournament yet this year so that you may, qualify to fish in this level. AIM Next level tournament series next year. This is a pro level type AIM series. It's awesome. Timing's great. Walleye World's kind of in a little disarray in tournaments, a lot of different factors. But we're going to we touch on that and break it down for you to see kind of what, there's one out there for everybody: NWT levels, AIM levels, MWC levels. So there's just more options and giving everybody some different opportunities with maybe less travel, different styles of fishing, team, not team, scoping, not scoping, whatever. There's some strategies to be played in all this stuff. Catch, photo, release versus, weigh-ins. There's positives and negatives to all of these. And all the circuits are trying to do everything they can do. But AIM Next has got a lot of this figured out, and it's very interesting, and you're going to want to learn about it. So tune in and listen. Brett King tells about the AIM Next Level Tournament Circuit coming in 2026, coming up next. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today, we are joined by the chairman of the board, the man, no other than leading the way with the AIM Tournament Circuit, Mr. Brett King, here to tell us a little bit about. It's not breaking news, but it's not old news. But it's kind of new news. We just want to make a big deal about it because it's pretty new. But the AIM Next series getting ready to launch here in 2026. So we're going to touch on that, guys. And we're going to touch a little bit. Brett is literally just home a couple days ago from Lake Huron on the third NWT stop. Brett, how you doing? Are you recovering from the big Huron waves?
Yeah, I got home about 8:30 Saturday night. Laid pretty low yesterday. Of course, just licking wounds and recovering and getting a little extra sleep. Fun event out there. Sure. I mean, it was great. Love that system. Challenging, spooky, clear water fish. But there's some nice fish in that system.
What? So we were there in Sac. What year was it? You won it that year. You went up to Alpena. Is that 18, 19?
That was 18.
118. I remember that water being so clear. It was the only place I remember I was clear, I guess, Charity Island.
Yep.
And that was whoever was pre-fish with me, like Kevin and Scott. And I was like, I could literally feel like I could take a glass and just dip it in the water and drink it.
If it wasn't too windy, you could see down about 30 feet pretty clearly. Yeah. It's definitely, those fish are hard to get, within probably 70 feet is about as close as you could try to get them in most conditions out there. But that that puts an additional challenge to it, and it was fun. I mean, it's a cool fishery. I mean, obviously I want to go back. Fish totally different than 18. 18, there was only a couple of us that were willing to go up to that playground, and now we left from that playground, so it fished totally different than it did in 18 for sure. And of course, my back was against the wall a little bit on the whole point situation, so I had to fish a little bit conservative, which I don't like doing that anymore, but did what I had to do. Wanted to have a reason to go out to Dunkirk with a purpose,
right?
Instead of a hope and pray mission. So it was a good week overall. We had good weather. One super rainy day,
which is huge out there. I mean, that place is all about you need some good weather because it can get rough. It's the roughest of all of them by far.
That is one of the most challenging bodies of water to drive a boat on that I've fished. Doesn't take much. The currents and stuff ripping around those islands and points, it can really whip up some choppy stuff pretty fast. The waves don't set up like you expect them to. You'd be running, going through them, and all of a sudden there'd be something coming from a completely different direction. It's like, where did that come from? On top of all the freighters going through.
All right.
They go through, and a half hour later, all of a sudden you're dealing with this chop and this mess. It's like, where'd that come from? Oh yeah, that freighter just went through. So good community. It was a good host. Yeah, like I said, cool area. Definitely want to go back. Lots of structure. You can fish what you want. You can fish
Good.
weeds, rock, deep rock, shipwrecks. So all of that was cool. It really was cool.
Yeah, that's always good when you got some stuff to throw around in structure. And I know
Yeah,
Hunter said he was fishing pretty shallow, and some guys ran way north up, to the Sioux area. And I'm sure, but it's not like it didn't fish like it did last fall, which obviously it's summertime when guys went further south, towards Saginaw. It was just
yep.
kind of a mix, though, right? Go about anywhere you wanted right now, depending on the class of fish you're going to land on.
It was tough to chase them down. I mean, the stories you heard, believe them or not, I'm sure most of them are true. And what guys were going through to get on those fish, uh, especially scoping them.
Right.
I opted to go a little bit different direction than that, but again, I was more about being a little bit conservative and just trying to get through and get some points. So,
Well, scoping them 70 feet out, I mean, that's still a flip of a cast, but you're also dealing with some deep water and some super spooky fish. I
yeah,
mean, it's a little, that's not typical. So,
and it seemed like they just never quit moving. They're
really,
always swimming. They just don't stop. And you had to chase them, chase them, chase them. Then you think you can set up on a cast and you throw the cast, but because they're moving 2 miles away, 2 miles an hour away from you, next thing you know, your cast is falling way short. So,
right. So you're 70 feet to turn into 130 feet
yeah,
cast to get in front of them. Is that just because all that current that just keeps them on the move, probably, or
yeah, that and I
and
think just the pressure.
the
They see the
pressure?
boat, and they do all that, and they're just moving probably to eat. So,
So trolling I mean, there was probably a handful of guys spreading it all out with the planer boards,
yeah,
and
I was actually trolling for this one. I was putting up a fairly consistent 4 pound average.
it's
Um,
not bad out there.
when I was doing it, I figured that'd be enough to get it done. That's about what I did in the tournament, and it set me up pretty good going into Dunkirk. So we'll take it.
Awesome. Yeah, I see they haven't updated Angler of the Year standings, but I'm sure it shook it up a little bit. But like you said, you got to fish conservative, and I love the point system with the top 40 when that got changed up a few years ago. Instead of pay to play, pay at entry, which is
Yep.
exactly what we're going to be dealing with at the AIM, next series. And that's the way I think they should be. I don't know how that's going to work out as far as championship payouts or entries, since the NWT is not getting that 125 boat average, or only averaging like 83.
Yeah, we won't know that.
Yeah. Is Johnny going to up, a little bit, pay the difference again? Because it seems to be more and more every year, but this is going to be a lot bigger chunk this year, a little bigger ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really disappointing to see the numbers going the direction they're going. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I know, they were pretty challenged getting the co-angler field to fill. There's a magnitude of reasons for that we can get into or not get into, but definitely just does not feel like it's going the direction we need it to go.
Let's get into that and talk about all of this, because this is all tied into what you got going on and why. Whatever your skill or experience level is as an angler, you deserve a fishing reel that contributes to your success and satisfaction on the water and never detracts from it. From the makers of St. Croix rods, Seviin Reels, spelled Seviin, is born of 7 decades of design and manufacturing expertise, industry-leading angler support, and the American family ownership dating back to 1977. Seviin Reels are designed and crafted for high performance and unrelenting reliability. Verified at least 16 different ways by extreme torture testing at Seviin's one-of-a-kind Park Falls, Wisconsin laboratory. Seviin Reels are also proven on the water by the most demanding professional guides and tournament anglers. So by the time a Seviin reaches your hands, it's ready for anything you throw at it. Guaranteed by the best and easiest warranty in the industry. Disappointment happens, but there should never come as a result of your reel. Seviin Reels are tested, proven, and guaranteed to be the most reliable on the planet. Check out the entire lineup at seviinreels.com. I think.
Okay.
That's right. That's a good segue.
Yep.
We're real talk. We're keeping things real. There's nobody else who keeps it a lot more real than me than Mr. Brett King, Tommy Keeble, and Mark Orange are a couple of guys that definitely like to keep it real and, to say it how it is. But the co-angler challenge, that was a big deal going into this one. It sounded like they were about 10 guys short. Obviously, you filled it. However, they did it. I mean, I know back in the day they'd bring in some on, if you're 10 short, you brought in 10 at a $100 entry fee, and those 10 competed against each other.
Right.
I
have no idea how they did that, but
I don't know what they did for this one, but why are we short on co-anglers when it's such a big demand and it's usually a waiting list?
Oh, we'll go down the rabbit hole, but
it's our best guess. We don't know because we're not them,
right.
but I think it's the live scoping has obviously got something to do with it.
I think it's the technology. It's, quickly turning into something we're attempting to address with the NXT, and it's very hard for a co-angler to fish with a accomplished, I'll call it, scoper, right? They're so fast, they're so methodical in how they go about things, that it's hard for somebody to fish from the back of the boat. I think that's part of it. I think guys are getting a little bit fed up with coming in the boat, basically for a boat ride. I mean, I don't sugarcoat it or not. It's basically a boat ride. And I kind of called that out a few years ago to different people that this could become a problem with the whole scoping situation. Was, how long are we going to keep the co-angler situation alive when a lot of times they just don't really get to fish like they want to? Great learning experience still for them if they want to learn the aspect of the new technology. No better place.
But on that note, Tom went to university, a couple $100.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nobody better at it than Tom.
I could do it from home, and for half the price, and I could do it from home and revert back to it. So, I mean, I get it. There's still on the water stuff. There's no better place to learn than on the water. Period.
Yes. But if a lot of times it seems like our co-angler generation, that's a nice way to put it, is the older, more towards retirement people. And if they don't want to engage that game, what are they going to do it for?
Right.
I will say last few years, I've seen a pretty good crew of younger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Co-anglers that want to learn it. But, are we eventually going to run out of those? I don't know. It's just seemingly trending that way with the numbers we're getting or not getting, I guess is a better way to put it. So, Dunkirk will be interesting for sure to see what kind of numbers we do pull out there.
It's a system that trolling's completely in play.
Yep.
Dunkirk, just like Huron, like I said, plenty of guys trolled. I mean, it could very easily have been one, trolling, but we think that, and then it's top 10 are still scopers. I mean, it's just when you get to pick out the fish, when you get to pick out the fish you want, and you're confident and patient with it, it does work. It's hard. It's really hard to compete against it. Erie's a little bit different. I mean, Ryan Buddy and some of those guys did very well in the spring out there last time. I don't know how that'll set up out there now with that area and those fish being that deep. Maybe he's perfect for scoping. I don't know. Maybe it ends up being a troll and copper line type bite. Who knows? But
I used to kid myself and play the weather, the whole scenario on whether scoping will come into play or not.
Right.
And I've pretty much been proven wrong every time. So
yeah, after that blowy day at Erie on day 2, and they scoped in giant rollers, it's like, they can do it anytime, anywhere. It doesn't even matter at this point.
No, it doesn't. So
and I've gone out and practiced it myself, and it's just boat control and confidence and patience. It can totally be done, and get those. Now these trolling motors are coming with these longer shafts to crack in. You can get a custom old Trex, and all these other new, trolling motors are all 70 to 75-inch shafts now, so you can keep that motor in the water, and you can do it in these higher winds.
I will say, as a guy that sells boats every day for a living, the amount of dual power pole boats I see on the water anymore, it's fastly going that way. So
Yeah, we fished the NTC. My partner John Wessel had 2-power. He had a Warrior with 2 poles on the back, and it was supposed to blow. So we yielded to take his boat, and he had the Kraken, and I took my Kraken off, put my Ultrex back on because I'm in the back of the boat and I need that remote system. And sorry if that remote system, this works a lot better than that Kraken remote. That long shaft and things is great. But he had that on. It ended up not really blowing that bad, and it was fine. But we definitely use those poles a little bit, and yeah, that's great when you can drop them back and actually just go with the wind instead of always having to face into it.
right,
It's a nice little control. I'm like, this definitely makes a difference.
I'm pretty surprised I have not seen more of the quote unquote crappie breaks this year.
Yep.
I've had a chance to fish with those, and it's crazy good. If that's your game, I'm just blown away. We haven't seen more of those yet, systems, but it truly is. That is the beast. If this is what you're gonna do,
Well, the Kraken had a reverse installed onto it or an update, so it's got the reverse on the motor. But Fin Gear's got the new surge paddle type things. I think you can add on to there that that Drake came out with. So that's the evolution is there with all the new, lures and rods. Everything's leaning this way. We got a fishing line, we got rods, we got lures all made for it. Now we got, which isn't, Walleye World's a little behind the bass world getting to all this type of stuff, obviously. But it's there. It's there for anybody to use and find a way. We just have to modify it. We got to make things longer and deeper and, versus bass boats. So,
Hey folks, I want to tell you about this new line that Seagar introduced this year. It's been on the market for a couple years, but it's been over in Japan. They just brought it over to the United States this year, and I absolutely love it. It's called PEX8. This is by far the thinnest diameter braid I have ever used. This is still an 8-strand braided line with such a thin diameter. It's unbelievable. I'm using an 18-pound test today, and it feels like 2 pound. The advantages to this thin diameter is if it's windy out, I'm not catching much wind, I get less bow in the line. High pressure situations where the fish are, taking on a lot of fishing pressure, a thinner diameter line, less visible, of course. Current in the rivers, I'm gonna cut the current a little better, I'm gonna get better control, and they did all this without losing any of its strength. This stuff is still strong as all the Seagar braided lines, and the sensitivity is second to none. So check this out, this PEX8 over at Seagar.com.
And it's coming. So yeah, you're completely right. You're seeing less kickers and more power poles with drip paddles.
Less kickers, more power poles. Absolutely.
And obviously, I would say 90% everybody's got lithium in there now to run all this stuff. So
yeah, that's a whole another conversation, but yeah, lithium's a big part of it anymore. It's going to continue to grow and be a bigger part of it for sure. That's just technology and the evolution of fishing and boats and everything that goes with it. I sell this stuff every single day in my day-to-day job, and the boat motor trailer part of this thing is becoming so much of a small part of the equation compared to the accessory part of it. Impossible for manufacturers to keep up with, and dealerships. Right. You just can't win because we have so many options now, which is a good thing. But to
make your job easier.
No, to physically put a quote unquote stock unit, on the floor, it's very challenging because you're likely to, have a guy come in and you've got it all set up in code a Hummingbird, whatever it is, and I want Garmin.
Yeah.
Then you have to change on rig, do all that stuff. So definitely making some challenging moves that way for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not changing any. I'm off to ICAST tomorrow. Hopefully, they keep canceling my flights, but you're gonna see all these new things that are coming out, and it's tough. I just did a little video with St. Croix new physics rod, which is designed for forward-facing sonar. I'm like, this stuff is going so fast that it's technology in a sense, but it's products that we can't hardly keep up with it. Electronics have been a challenge enough to stay updated on what you already have.
Used to only be a couple choices, honestly, and now it's like, where do you go? It's across the board. You got 4 players, 4 companies, and they're all in. They're all good. They all have their ups. They all have their downs. I'll be interested to see what's coming out of ICAST. I'm not going. Um, I have my dealer meeting next week. I'll be leaving for Arkansas on Sunday. So didn't feel like doing a turn and burn to ICAST and then right back to Arkansas.
No, you just
Especially
got
after just getting home. And,
yeah, no
you know,
doubt.
it's not going to be too long and we're headed for Dunkirk.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh.
it's very busy time of year, obviously, and you guys started your pre-fish over the 4th of July holiday. So I mean, you missed enough. Stay home. You got a pretty new bride. Let's stay home a little bit.
Whole nother issue you want to get into.
Yeah, we both been down that road
The
one too many times.
The stories. I was fortunate enough to have a buddy to stay with out there, so he opened the house to us.
Well,
You know, me and Shakira, and so we were good. But the stories I heard of guys getting out there and their VRBOs and stuff were double booked, or they couldn't get in till Monday. You know, those stories were just very eye opening about probably why you don't plan those on holiday weekends.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a few guys that I don't know if they ever did get into their places or if they just had to find other means.
Right. Yeah, that sucks. You don't need added layers of things to deal with when you already have to deal with Lake Huron within itself is enough stress.
Yeah. You know, when I sat down with the schedule this year, and I'm fairly central for the most part, it was 80 hours of drive time to pull this schedule off. That's a lot.
It is.
And, you know, this next one really is like, God, we're going to drive by how many hours of
really good fishing,
right. Premier walleye fishing just to get to a specific state to pull off this event that we could have done, you know, 5 hours closer. But that's not my schedule to set. So we deal with it. We choose to deal with it. So it's what we get to play.
Yeah. It's if you don't like it, don't fish it.
That's right.
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 It's that simple. We got
and you're not alone. I mean, there was a few people I noticed that weren't at this last one, and I'm sure there'll be a few more not at the next one. So.
Nope. Sometimes we got to make some tough choices. I want to go. I want to be at all of them, but you know, did a crappy season last year, and you stay home and work. It's a lot of guide trips. So some of us don't get paid vacation, so we need to stay home and work once in a while, or we just need to do a hell of a lot better in tournaments, really. But you know, that is what it is. Rumors of next year's schedule sound great. You know.
Yeah. You know, the rumors I've seen, you know, you and I shared one back and forth that kind of replicates what I had heard before. That is a good schedule. Depending on the timing. We don't know the timing of the events yet. If we can avoid the holidays and all of those things, and then we hit the right bodies of water with the right timing, it should be a very stellar schedule next year.
Yeah.
To fish and the fishing itself should show that. So we'll cross our fingers and hope they do the right things, and that's all we can do.
Yep, that's it. And then we'll see what it comes out, and then everybody will decide whether they want to get in or not. And hopefully there's been some lessons learned, I would imagine, and they take a hard look at it, listen to the anglers a little bit, make some adjustments, and things start trending the other way, because things are trending the wrong way in the walleye tournament world. So, but AIM Next has got the solution for a lot of this stuff. AIM Circuits, you just had a Bago tournament, I think, last weekend, and it was full.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them at River Circuit look like 30, 40 boats. North Dakota's kind of been tinkering on the lower side. River Circuit that's kind of, but your Minnesota, Wisconsin tournaments all seem to have pretty good turnouts.
Pretty solid. And that's always been our core.
Right.
We always try to expand into, you know, the Dakotas and, you know, the river thing. I will say, if you look at the river division, which I fish myself, our numbers are definitely up this year, and we're going the right direction. Solid core group of guys. Everybody's inviting friends and other guys to come in, and we're getting some newcomers. We had some guys that just decided to, you know, not fish anymore. That whole story is we bought the Watt Trail out, which the Watt Trail always kind of concentrated on that south of the Iowa, Illinois part of the river. But we're trying to realize that we need to bring this further north towards the Red Wing lacrosse area where
Yep.
there's a lot more anglers to play with.
Lots. It's really
And
good fishing.
so we lost some of those southern guys, but we picked up a lot of new guys, and they're excited. They like it. Yeah, they're engaging it. Competition, of course, is fierce, and we hope to see it continue to grow. We called it the River Division for a reason. It doesn't have to stay on the Mississippi. We're just targeting moving water, so we have a lot of options to move that thing around to. Dakota numbers are picking back up where they should be. Tough to compete with the Casino Cup tournaments out there that are, guaranteed jackpot tournaments.
Yep.
Casinos can do that, AIM can't. So
Right.
yeah, that's just the way it is. So we've hung out there for a long time now, and it's a good state, good waters.
Excellent waters. So
Yeah, for sure. So, but no, the NXT is exciting. It's been a project on the bulletin board for a long time, and timing is everything with bringing something
Yep.
new out and about. With where the present things are working in the industry, not 100% sure about this year, but we can't sit back forever either.
No. Well, there's so many unknowns and variables with the economy, right? The election thing was coming in. NWG
Yeah.
thought this year was going to be a lot better as far as, non-endemic sponsorship and getting things to move. But theoretically, fuel, nothing's price-wise, nothing's really changed a whole hell of a lot.
No, it hasn't. And, it's being worked on hard every day.
Yep.
We had a couple key meetings the last few weeks as far as working on title sponsorships, and hopefully once we get that secured, then we can start divulging a lot more of the whole plan. Honestly, without that, this is where we sit, right? That's why everything so far has kind of been announced tentative. This is our intent. This is our plan. Here's kind of where we hope to be with this thing. We're trying to give the anglers a tiered system. That's a qualification process to go from A to B, and C is on the bulletin board as the next step. But we've got the foundation, we've got the roots with the weekend series for sure.
Creating the funnel like all bass circuits basically have, and the walleye world really hasn't had it, kind of earning their way up to this, next, AIM next. This is the next level pro team yet circuit.
And we're not trying to hurt feelings by excluding people. That's why we set out the qualification process the way it was. It's fairly lucrative, depending on how fast it fills. Those fill numbers are possibly negotiable. May expand it. We'll see what the reception is.
Is it 100 boats is the goal?
75 right now.
75?
So, that's something we'll have to just kind of take as it comes and see where it ends up. Ultimately, we'd love to have 150, but we have to build a structured process to continue this on, and hopefully again get to the C project on the bulletin board.
So basically, hey, we got 75 slots. First tier is first dibs, right?
Yep.
These are your top 40 or whatever through the AIM. There's like kind of 4 tiers in a sense. The last one basically saying you've had to at least fish an AIM tournament one time in your life to qualify.
Absolutely.
Like taking your top 40, then you're kind of by regions or something like that. Second tier, I know it was kind of, I haven't read it for a little while, but
it's a points thing. It's a placement and team of the year standings. And then, all the way down to you fished an AIM somewhere along the way. Obviously, AIM is a catch, record, release format. So we want people coming into play at this level. I mean, it's going to be fairly high stakes poker.
Yep.
To be comfortable with our system, not be caught off guard with the system. One thing we do is we try to tote the line as hard as we can with the rules. I think that's us as anglers. All we've ever wanted was
Yep.
that fair playing field, to not feel like, something's getting overlooked here or whatever. So it is important to have fished our process before you get into this level. The NXT series, we've got some stellar teams coming out of those weekend series
Yep.
events across the board, all 4 divisions. They deserve a place to go.
Yep.
Right, to fish that next level. Honestly, we have spawned a lot of really, really good anglers into what we have for a top tier now. Not naming names, as far as tournament levels. I mean, you take I remember fishing Will Pappenfuss,
Yep.
in the Minnesota AIM. And look where that young man is now.
I'll say you got your Hunters, your
He-
Hunter Nitty, Will
yeah.
Pappenfuss, you got Bricko,
Good
Mackey, who's
Bricko,
Minnesota.
Mackey,
Good
Evan
guy.
Rosemore.
Yep.
You got some stellar guys coming out of the Dakotas, and they deserve another place to go, and that's what we're trying to do. And we want to give them a reason to travel in a realistic geographic, not get crazy, try to, dot the map in each division per se,
Yep.
and get them to travel. I've had, I've had quite a few guys come up and want to go down the pro-am format, right? Which we've done for history. I mean, AIM even had one back in the day.
Yep.
But again, there's been so many things with the pro-am format that are proven to not be.
It's not working right now.
It's not be right. It's not working.
Yep.
I think here's the best way I can put it to you, Brian. If I allowed you to walk into a rules meeting, okay, and there's 100 boats in this field, and you walked in and there was 100 guys lined up on a wall, okay, and Brian Bashore gets pulled boat number 10 on your draw. You get the 10th pick out of that 100 guys on the wall. Would you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely you would. You would go down that line and you'd go, boom, I'll
Yep.
take you. Right? Instead of this random, have no idea system. So I've told quite a few guys, like, look at it this way. I get you want to be, the pro, the main guy in the boat, whatever. If that's what you want to do, pick your partner.
Yep. Bring your kid.
Pay the expenses, right? Yep. Do all that. Make your deal with your partner that I'll pay everything. This is what we're going to win. This is what you get out of it, and treat it as such, because it is gravitating towards a kind of a one-man band sport, with the support of somebody else in your boat or an observer or whatever. The pro-am format has not curbed what it's supposed to curb. That's been proven. I'm going to leave that right there. So long story short, if you can pick your partner and bring them to play high stakes poker, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah. Utilize them however you want to utilize them.
Exactly.
So it's, pay for your media guy to come along.
You take a Dylan and a Joe. I mean, they're, Tyler Walden, Nate, they're well-oiled machines, and they can, compensate each other and work as that way. So it's really just time to engage that and move forward with it.
Yeah, we at the NTC, we just took basically both on the front. And if you missed the cast, the other guy followed it right up.
Yep.
Like, oh, I'm off. Hit it. And you hit it. And first day, I think one of my fish was weighed in, and all all the rest are his. Second day,
Mhm.
one of his fishes weighed in. All the rest were ones I caught. Third day, I caught some. He caught some. I think all of his were probably what we weighed in. But it was a no poles, nobody in the back, both on the front. I'm off. You throw. Just kind of go, and it worked.
Look at how the boats have evolved. You're starting to see the front end set up for 2 guys on the front deck. All of it. That's just where it's going right now. So that's what we're trying to engage and give everybody another choice playing field to come play at, and we hope they do. I mean, honestly, that's what we want.
But there's systems like the Mississippi River, like LaCroix. I mean, where it's second guy is totally into play.
Yes,
because it's not always on the bow as much as you're seeing that in bass even this year where they've limited, live scope where NPFL don't allow bass, allow certain transducers. MLF is one period, but there's early season ones where I know they're shallow. I don't need to, you can still use it and kind of be like, oh, they're over there cast. And so, blind casting can obviously, that second guy can totally come into play and put a lot of fish in a boat. I mean, we can't discount it completely, but a Great Lake, a Huron, open water, a Lake of Walleye, whatever, it's, one guy can do it. It can hands down be won by one person in the boat, period.
Absolutely. So that's kind of the overall concept behind it. Absolutely. Like you said, bring your kid, we welcome that. That's awesome. And you see a lot of that, bring your wife, your girlfriend, whatever.
Just don't bring your mistress, but
yeah, no, that's probably not a good plan.
It's just, there's a lot of photos in this circuit. Be smart.
And to go down the media path, we're working on that. That's kind of tied up into the original pitch we had with the title sponsor is the media offering.
It's a big demand nowadays, but it's not cheap. And I'm not sure that the general public understand what goes completely into it. What they see, and I've said this 100 times within the bass world and stuff, is multi-million-dollar productions. Tens and hundreds of $1 million worth of production level, and the walleye world has tens of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars.
Yes.
So it's kind of do your own stuff.
You kind of hate to say it, but if we can pull some of it off, we're going to be as good or better than what we currently deal with now. Sponsor wise, we hope to bring all our current sponsors for the Weekend Walleye Series in. This is a total separate entity. We want the Warrior boats. We obviously want the Yamahas, and they're definitely all going to get first crack at some of this, 100%. And we hope they all come in and engage into a whole new pool of anglers and the process. I don't know if you ever got to see any of the Pro-Am Series AIM events back in the day on how we did the stage show. We've got, a concept on how we're going to do that. Anybody that's watched like the Graha event, AIM runs.
Yep,
we don't run it, but we produce, I guess is a good way to put it, that event. We do the show, we handle all that, and that's a good show.
Yep.
You don't have to bring these fish in to do this, right? Like, how many fish do you, and I'm not picking on any one circuit, but how many fish do you physically see on a stage?
Very seldom any.
So why do we need to do that, right?
Yep.
We've talked about many a spitball ideas like, hey, if we need to create the show with a fish, why can't we do like Bass does when they go to Texas?
Yep.
You can bring one in over 24.
Yeah, Lake Fork rules. I think it is 22 or 20. It's whatever. It's a monster freaking bass for Lake Fork.
Yeah. If you want to bring one in and you feel like you need to, go ahead. And bring it in so you can hold it up on stage, but you don't have to.
Right.
So all of that stuff is open. It's a pretty open book. We got a lot of work to do, plain and simple.
But you let the cat's out of the bag, so now you're accountable to doing all the work. So you got to get it done.
I remember back in the day, I think it was 12 years ago, when we started the weekend series, myself, Chase, it was Chemos, Jim Carroll at the time, might even been Mark Martin. We're going back a ways here. When we decided to pull that together and we hired Denny Fox, that was like September when we started that process, and we kicked it off in April. So it can be done. We can do it
totally
again.
Totally be done. Once tournament season's over, we all have a lot more time.
No, then boat show season
Yeah,
starts. So
so
no, not really, but
not for you, but you're
in
right.
theory.
In theory.
One of our challenges, I'm just going to throw this out there, is always manpower.
Yeah.
We've got Mike Lillimo on board trying to sell sponsorship package stuff for us. He's been engaging companies and going down that path. We're still in need of tournament directing, whether that's for a state division to free up time or everything. Denny Fox is a great employee, stellar guy. He's only got so much time. We have his hands full. He's already running.
He is running ragged. He is all over.
Through the 4 divisions and the Graha and we do the Warrior tournament up on Lake of the Woods. We handle that for them. He's got his hands full. And that's a lot in our short season when you only have, basically 4 or 5 months to play.
Yep.
That gets to be a lot. So we still need some manpower. I need to take some pressure. I shouldn't say we as a board need to take some pressure off Denny and get him some fill-in work to help out. Haven't had a ton of success doing that. It's not a full-time gig, part-time gig.
Right.
Somebody that wants something to do on a few weekends. So, if anybody out there is listening and interested in that, please reach out.
If you're recently retired, love tournament fishing, great way to get back,
Absolutely.
stay involved. Or if you're a young college kid coming up and looking for something to do in the summer to learn and get involved in the industry, another kind of a great person to have, I think, filling in that role.
I think all of us that have been around doing this for a while realize a tournament director takes a pretty special person to do. You got to have a thick backbone and be able to, work through all that and pull that off, be fair, but, yet walk the line and tout that line. So still looking for some of that. If anybody knows anybody wants to throw their name forward, put their name in the hat, please reach out. Be glad to talk to them.
Yeah, reach out to Brett guys and get in on it. So next we got, obviously you got to get all, there's a whole lot of work to do to get sponsorships, numbers will determine payouts, schedule. We're looking at 3 qualifiers and a championship, right?
That's right.
That's the tentative plan. All this is fluid.
Everything's
fluid people.
tentative right now.
Tentative folks. But you're taking top 40 to a free entry championship.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now it's on the board for 75 boats total. 40 go onto the championship. Then there's a cut line where, eventually you would have to go back and requalify up, kind of like what Bass has run. That's the whole idea behind it. You need to maintain your position, but yet it opens up room for guys coming up and through the weekend series to fight their way in and get in there. So we have a tentative payout schedule out there. That's going to reflect on what we can obtain for sponsorship. All that as far as where the actual numbers will fall. But, right now we're looking at roughly 30K to win, which is a pretty good number.
Yep.
When it's a cash check, right?
Win, especially as only 75 boats. I mean, you're looking at least 100 to get to that normally.
Yep.
But $1,400 entry. But once again, you're on a team, so
that's right. And there again, it's your choice. You want to fund the whole thing and just bring somebody with you to assist, or do you want to split it up, which makes it, far more affordable for a lot of guys to, okay, here's your budget. I mean, you know what a budget is for an NWT event. I mean, it's. Hope my wife.
It's more than 1,400.
And if you're splitting it versus paying it all yourself, that makes a big difference. Yep. Honestly, we hope some of these power guys engage that and go, okay, I'm going to take my boat. You take your boat. You get a partner to come with you. I'm going to do the same. And some of that's going to happen. Some of them will stay together, obviously. but it gives you a lot of freedom, a lot of options on how you want to go about the business. So
it will be, I guess, wouldn't be angler of the year stuff. It'd be team of the year.
yep,
Is that a category or something that would fall into all that and
there
separate? I
is.
mean,
That's all, projected. And again, that's going to come down to sponsorships we raise. Right now, AIM Weekend Walleye Series, team of the year, wins a kicker.
right.
So that will all be recognized for sure.
Okay.
And then right now, like the championship, no entry fee, slated to win a boat to win that. Ideas on the board to hopefully maybe have first and second place be boats. And again, all of that is tentative, and we're working through it.
Well, you will get there, and you have your hands full. It is there's so much that goes into all this stuff on the back end and the management and the monies, the payouts. You pick up 5, 10, 20 sponsors, the communication, the back and forth with each one of those 20 times. So much that people just don't realize what the board has to do. And then to get that into Denny's hands, and yeah, he definitely could use some more help,
Yep.
and you have the weekend series going on the whole time and the river series and the Grahan. I think there's even a couple other events you kind of help out with the Warrior, Lake of the Woods event. It's Aim's blowing it up. It is next level, and it's a new avenue for people to go. And I got a ton of ideas on the media side. If you want to listen to them sometime and how I can help you there. I know we've talked about it before of helping the North Dakota and creating just a Dakotas division. So whatever you need on this end to make some of that happen, because we don't have a lot over here. We got the fishing crew doing their things, but I think as this evolves and people got to earn their way in, they're going to look for that regional place to go. And I mean, I'm cool with going fishing rivers division because that's not too far away, but people really only want to drive an hour or two, not 4 or 5 if they can, obviously.
And we want to create those opportunities for guys, get them closer, give them a reason to get in. Again, a lot of that, honestly, Brian, comes back to manpower.
Yeah, I was going to say it's manpower. You need it, and it's tough. It's a tough role to fill. It's a tough gig. It's a no thrills, no frills, and you're kind of like the safety officer in the military. Just nobody likes the tournament director ever. No, you got to be the hard hats. It's not a very glorified position, but it should be.
Definitely not the most popular all the time. That's for sure.
No. I mean, the winners like you, but that's about it. There's tough choices and tough things you got to do, but it's very simple. Rules are rules, and everybody should know them. And if you just can't follow them, then sorry, you can't follow them. But I get it, because we have the app, the fish donkey thing we use on a league. And when you're talking about, is that a 15 and a quarter or a 15 and a half, right? And then someone's got to make that call. And it doesn't seem like no matter how many times you tell people how to do something, somebody still doesn't get it right.
Most of our issues, you can just about peg it back to just people not following and listening. And
listening.
With COVID came virtual meetings.
Yep.
Which I think leads to some of that. But I do encourage guys that are fishing it to pay attention in the meeting, see how it goes. There's a lot of us that have measured, I don't know, 1,000+ fish through this process and never had an issue. But I always try to tell guys, when you're doing this, don't trip over dollars to get the pennies, because that's what you're doing.
Yep.
When you're trying to squeeze that extra, eighth inch out. We changed our process this year, went to a one-handed measuring system, which a lot of people threw their arms up on that. I can tell you for certain that has caused 0 issues for us this year. And quite honestly, it's the easiest I've ever measured these fish, was just one hand on them. It's like when you grab that tail, that's when they get spunky and don't like it.
You just got a little belly rub on them there, and they'll just kind of lay down for a second.
It really has proven to be, and we, there's people thought that was like a knee-jerk reaction. That was stuff we played with for almost a year before we brought that forward. We played with pinchers, all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's what we try to do, is just make it the fairest playing field we can. And so that wasn't something we just pulled out of thin air and said, "Hey, we're going to do this." We tried and played with it, and that's where it landed.
The more I do the catch, foot, release thing, I'm loving it. It takes out the whole slot variable and the luck, right? Of your fish coming in the right order type thing, especially on the Mississippi River when you got different pools with different slots and stuff, and you can't go to one or the other because you got a 22 incher, and you can't go to this pool because you can't have any 20 inchers, or whatever it is.
Some of those rules get a little bit ridiculous. The AIM format, it always seems like truly the best guy that day wins.
Yep.
Because we don't have to play the slot. It allows us to go places that we maybe couldn't go before because we don't put the fish in the box, like pool 2, for example, on the Mississippi, catch and release only. That is a phenomenal fishery for walleyes, a lot of big fish. And, we're able to tap that at times and fish it where you couldn't do that on a weight tournament. So,
no. And
there's
we
a
have
lot of pluses.
Tons. You have the North Dakota and South Dakota Governor Cups, I think, are both coming up this weekend. And they're all kill tournaments after first.
Are they both on the same weekend? I know North Dakota is.
Yeah, South Dakota's this coming weekend too, I believe. So it sucks because these are kill tournaments. I think after 1st of June. North Dakota, I know last year gave them that option to release it when the NWT was there, so maybe they'll do that again. But I don't know. South Dakota ain't, but it does have catch, photo, release in the tournament application format now to check that box. But you're talking 2 overs, and in Hawaii, if you don't have the 2 overs, your other 3 fish don't even matter. You're fishing for 2 giant fish, and with 200 boats, you're going to have 20% of the field's going to get probably a couple of those, and they're all being killed. Whatever day that 2 days of it is, whatever that comes to. There's a lot of big fish getting knocked out. Fortunately, that's a big system. There's a lot of big fish, and they just keep showing up big fish after year after year. So, but just imagine how good it could be if they didn't get killed every summer.
Some people like fishing the slot formats, and there's pros and cons to it. Slot tournaments at times can keep the technology in check.
Yep.
Because it's not coming down to getting the 5 biggest. Yeah. With the catch, record, release format, there's nothing saying you can't do that.
Yep.
Right. You can't. Okay. Oh, you get 3 under 20, 2 over. It just opens up so many more avenues to play the game and set the rules than if you're actually bringing the fish in. So.
Hey folks, Brian Shore here with Clean Cut Cutting Boards. This thing is awesome. I always carry one along with me in the truck for days like today where I find myself just getting off the water. We got a couple, nice walleyes that we kept to eat for tonight. And the fish cleaning station is broke down, or a lot of times early spring and in the fall they're closed, right? A lot of places people don't have fish cleaning stations, or whether you're somewhere really remote, you're back at your cabin or your camper, you find yourself after a good day of fishing, you got some fish to clean, and you don't have anywhere to do it. I always have this Clean Cut in the back of my truck, ready to go anywhere. That's what's awesome about them. They come in 2 different sizes, a variety of colors to meet your needs. These things are just all-purpose and on the go. You can flip this thing over, and if you're having a big gathering or something, it's basically got a big bowl on the back to put your pulled pork in it. You can make a vegetable tray, whatever it may be. It is more than just a cutting station. It is a very, very versatile, durable unit made by Rufflin Kennels. So check them out over at rufflinkennels.com for the Clean Cut Cutting Station. Try it out. I guarantee you're going to love it like I do.
I don't like killing them. I just don't. I want them to be there for somebody else to catch. We caught a tagged fish on day 2 out on Huron. My co-angler recorded all the information. I told him, I said, dude, you gotta send that information to me because I'm always really curious. Where did that fish come from to end up out in the middle of Huron, way over here? So That's the stuff that intrigues me. And, whether or not that fish again swam away after that, after we relocated it, I don't know. I hope it did, but that's just part of the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the catch, photo, release thing, you get a fish different too. I mean, I made the mindset of I can go over here and I can crank up. Let's get 5 on the card quick, right?
Yes,
And it
100%.
may not be good, put all the strategy, but it's like I got a spot. I may just go get 5 on the card quick because we all know we fish better once we got our limit. And then it's like, all right, let's just go target all these and upgrade all day long.
I've been lucky enough to win a few events doing that, just that way. And, one of them in particular, I felt like I outsmarted pretty much the whole field that didn't do that. They would go out into the abyss, try to catch their big fish, come in with 45 minutes left and catch what they could.
Yeah.
Where I stayed in until I got comfortable with the 5 I had, and then I went and chased some bigger fish out in the abyss. And then, eventually the last 2 days, I never left that area. Just stayed in there and just kept pounding for, a 25-inch average.
Sometimes those little ones get bigger in there. So.
That's right. And, you can relate, I can relate. You take systems like on the Missouri River system. The time before this year in Pier, when we fished sharp, I remember the 75-mile-ish runs to get the 2-3 ounce heavier fish. Same length, but they were fatter. Which that's part of the strategy too. But if you don't have to do that, that's kind of cool.
Well, it's safer.
Yep.
You're not. It's cheaper. And the
same game, different
rules.
And
if it's a sauger or sawguy or walleye, it doesn't really matter, right?
Nope, it doesn't.
So that I mean, there's definitely some nice advantages there.
Yeah,
but it's still the same game. It's just a different strategy, and it just depends. You got to wrap your mind around it and how it works. And I'm doing it, and I love it. And I think it's just everybody's going to it. Some of these your guys' system, some other people have created their own system, but theoretically, they're all the catch, photo, release, and I would say it's grown 200 or 300% just in the last 2 or 3 years.
We kind of started the whole process way back when. It was not acceptable per se back then, and we've definitely punched that through and kind of made it what I would say is the new normal, and made it acceptable. And we kind of sit back and chuckle once in a while about that. Like, look what we've done.
Yeah.
When we started this, people are like, oh, you're off your rocker. You can't do that. That's not going to work. Well, there's a lot of things you can relate, the catch, record, release thing to in today's tournament era, that probably wouldn't be here and wouldn't have been acceptable had we kind of not pushed through that barrier. So.
Well, it's with growing pains like anything. I mean, people found ways to cheat and manipulate the system, and then you have to make modifications, and that's never going to stop.
No.
It's just good. And with more technology, and there's just ways to get around things. But the reality is, if you're going to be those kind of people, you're eventually going to get caught and found out, and everybody's going to know, and you're not going to be doing this no more. So.
You hear so many stories, and I'll touch on that briefly. About things that have happened. The Montana Governor's Cup last year. Okada and I fished that, and all the way home we were getting phone calls. Oh, you got to do this. You need to protest, and all of it. At the end of the day, on a catch, record, release, photo tournament, whatever you want to call it, if you have to go to means to manipulate a fish, right, to get more length, and we're not going to get into that Pandora's box, but
right.
I've heard them all. I swear to God, I've heard them all. But if you have to go down that path in a catch, record, measure tournament, right? You tell me, Brian, what's the difference between that and putting weights in fish?
It's cheating no matter either way you look at it.
Those guys are infamously famous now.
Yep.
We hear about it on the road everywhere we go.
I get it from my guide clients all the time.
People that don't even fish saw that, and it's no different. I mean, it's just
Yep.
a different form of how you're doing it. So that's what we're always trying to work on and combat.
Cheater's going to cheat. That's just the way that is, right?
Yep.
And those kind of people hang out with those kind of people, and that's just, it's not the only thing on that rap sheet for those guys and others. And when there's money involved, I mean, it's tournament fishing's gambling in a sense, and that just is what it is. But it's some of the greatest people you're ever going to meet on tour and circuit, and some of the best guys, and just great people, and you're going to make a lot of friends and going to learn a lot. And the camaraderie, I mean, it's all second to none. The angling community is tight. It's very bickery as well, because once it's
small,
it's definitely small. But once it's that go, it's also all right. Our friendship's over here now. Now it's tunnel vision, and we're competing, and then everybody's pretty intense and pretty hardcore and butts heads and do things. But when it's all said and done, there's no reason we can't always just be like, I screwed up, you screwed up, made it my bad, I cut you off, or blah blah. And we all do stupid stuff just because we're got tunnel vision and realize it later. And whatever the case is, but overall, it's just a good group of guys competing, and because they're passionate about it and doing good things. And that's what AIM basically was created by, right? I mean, it was a bunch of anglers like yourself and Chase and guys that got together. Everybody pulled in some money. You all are the anglers own it.
77 in the beginning.
Right.
We've bought some of those back. We've had, unfortunately, too many members die. Too many owners die. So we purchased some of those back. But that's what it is. It's angler owned, angler run. That's the whole mission goal. We try to do, even carrying forward into the NXT, we're going to do our best to work around schedules to the best of our ability and give guys the opportunity that's still, like myself, probably going to fish the NWT and the NXT. We can only control that so much, though, but we will do our part and try to keep it so you have the ability to do both, or several options, not just those two. And that's kind of the whole mission, whole goal. One of the things we threw out there was the NXT events will be ahead of a weekend series event, which for business travel sense, that's what we're going to try to do.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily mean if the AIM Weekend Walleye Series is on Mille Lacs on Sunday, per se in Minnesota, that an NXT series won't be, say, Winnebagosh, an hour and a half up the road. So it's not impacting pre-fishing and all of the things that go when you combine events.
Right.
Not saying it won't ever happen, that they'll be on the same body of water, but that's one of the things we discuss a lot and how we're going to do this. So, and we're all open to ideas. I mean, the board now is myself, Kent Anderson, Jason Shakirat, Jake Lapine, Joe Okada. Anybody listening knows one or all of us, most likely. Any input you got, please feel free. Send it our way. We're always open to ideas. Can we do them all? Absolutely not. That's not feasible, not realistic.
No, when your manpower is limited, logistics become very important.
AIM we'll just do a running target of 1,000 members, right? And when we started down this process, it's like, well, we need to listen to our anglers. Well, you can't listen to 1,000. You'll get nowhere. You will absolutely get nowhere. So we picked a pool out of each division, right? And then some outsiders out of those, maybe not even in the divisions, on how to go about these things and kind of let that help set our parameters as well. So we try to always do that. Listen to people. Can we do it all? No, we can't. Let's be real. But if somebody comes with a legit, really good idea and plan, we're all ears. So
that's how it grows. That's how it gets better.
That's right.
Why, it's next level, folks. That's it. That's AIM. It's next level. Head over. It's been on here quite a while. I told Brett this would be short. It's not short because we just have so much good information to share out there. We got to get this out. People know if you want to look at getting in the next level, AIM next for next year, you got some opportunities to jump in some AIM weekend series yet this year. I believe there's still a couple.
Yep, there's some left.
There's still a couple left. Jump in them. So River, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Ottertail event this weekend in Minnesota. There's quite a few left. So check it out. AIM Pro Walleye Series, on Facebook. We've got obviously a web page. Shoot me, any of the board members, a Facebook message. We'll get back to you and try to help you when we can. But we'd love to see everybody out there. That's not real, but as many as we can. We're hoping we can pull this thing off, get the companies behind it, get the funding behind it, and looking forward to actually setting a hard schedule for next year that will travel throughout the Midwest.
I have no doubt you'll get it done, and I have no doubt you'll exceed the 75 boats. I think you can fill that up.
Well, the old saying, you put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
I'm going to say within about 15 minutes of registration being open, it's quote unquote going to be full at 75 boats.
Yeah. I would think I think the timing's good, but like you said, we'll see. We are always optimistically surprised on how this tournament. There's a lot of tournaments out there. I mean, people get to pick and choose, where you want to go, where you're going to put your money in as far as cost and economy, things like right now. I think people are just choosing to fish closer to home, but like you're trying to, keep that, a little tighter like it is. And we'll see. Things can change real fast in a few months in this country, as we know. So, and hopefully for the better.
Well, you go enjoy ICAST.
I will hopefully make it there. My flights keep getting canceled. I'm supposed to be there tomorrow afternoon, and now it's turned into tomorrow night. But we'll see. I hate flying. That's why when you drive, you got control. But Florida's a little bit of a drive from South Dakota. So
yeah, it is.
And it's just a quick 2-day trip. Get back. Got some guide trips rolling in on Friday to get back to. So, all right, folks, check it out. AIM Next Level. There's a big press release over on their website. Click on the news tab. Go down, read all about it. Covers a lot of stuff that Brett talked about, the qualifying, the tiers, everything. Very fluid. I'm sure as more things come, you guys are going to continue to put more information out. But the bottom line is jump at an AIM Series tournament if you can yet this year to start your qualification process to get your name and get in that funnel. So when there's an opening,
go fish a truly fun tournament series to fish. It really is.
And that's 100%. You need to have fished one of the style and your guys' format before going into the level so that you're not up there with the learning curve and doing it all jacked up. You've done it, whether it's once or 50 times, you got the idea. And you guys do it really better than anybody with the cameras, and everybody's got the same ruler, the same stuff. So whether guys are using other, the other resources out there, yours is this is the best way to do it. It's completely level across everybody.
There's reasons we do what we do.
Yep.
So,
and they're a good reason. So, congrats on your 18th place finish at Huron. Any time you can
that sounds terrible, but thank you.
No, you can cash a check on Huron. It's good. You can leave it a top 20 on Huron. That's and I think 20 or 21st was the last check probably anyway with the small numbers, but not an easy place to fish by all means. Challenging, and as I think wall anglers are wall anglers because we like the challenge.
Yep.
And
we do.
We didn't claim to be smart or anything like that. Never. But we definitely like the challenge. Yeah, we like to catch the hell out of them when the bite's great, but I like those tough bite tournaments kind of sometimes too, or when it's you got to really figure it out. And you kind of know even when you're pre-fishing when it clicks for you, where you're like, I think I might be doing something good.
Yeah.
You never know. It's after day one. You'd be like, wow, I really got to figure it out. Or you're like, nope, what I thought was really good wasn't very good, but
nope.
But you still figured something out, and that's the name of the game, is figuring it out. It's the hunt that leads up to the catch, which turns into fishing. So, all righty. Well, thanks for your time, Brett. Like I said,
thanks for having me.
Reach out to him, get the lowdown. You got questions, jump in on AIM, check it out on the website. And I think that's about it, folks. That's a wrap. anglers, co-anglers, comment below. Let us know why you're not getting into these tournaments this year. What is it you want to see change? What's the holdup? Why are tournament numbers kind of on a decline? In some formats, some it's not. Comment in here. Let us know. Check this out over here on YouTube or the Walleye Guys Facebook page, and you can find us on all the podcast platforms on Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple. It's a long list if you just want to listen to it, or you can watch it on YouTube and see Brett's pretty face for the hour. So
I don't know about that.
All right. Thanks again, Brett. We will see you soon. So stay safe, and we'll see you on the water.